a rejoinder, if any, from the person in respect of whom the publication was made. So, Mr. Speaker, the Constitution provides a comprehensive guide on the operations of the media space in Ghana. Let me rely on the views expressed by the Honorable Sam George, MP for Ningo Pampram, in the 8th Parliament. Mr. Speaker, he spoke strongly against ministerial action in respect of such defaults. He was against any form of penalty. And Mr. Speaker, in his argument, he relied heavily on the Constitution. Mr. Speaker, I adopt those views as though they were mine, to the extent that the Constitution makes certain broader provisions. And this is not to suggest that I am against the subsidiary laws enacted for the purposes of regulating these media houses as part of the checks and balances that are required or needed in every democracy. Mr. Speaker, democracy must be guided for the good of democracy itself. So I agree. But Mr. Speaker, in a situation where it becomes obvious that in the exercise of such discretion, there is a clear breach of Article 296, as my respected colleague, the former ambassador to South Africa and MP for Abrim just said, the intent must be looked at. And clearly, it comes without doubt that Article 296 has some questions for NCA and the ministry to answer. What we are seeing in respect of the statement from the presidency later this afternoon, a supposed clemency. Mr. Speaker, these are things that are done for the optics when the political system sees that there's a backlash. It is a very rich statement, very rich. And we take this supposed clemency with a pinch of salt. Mr. Speaker, we take this with a pinch of salt. That the NCA, together with the ministry, have embarked on a certain path, and now Mr. President, exercising his supervisory mandate, is now telling them that don't do it. Couldn't this have been discussed in-house prior to this decision? Well, Mr. Speaker, we have been in government before, so we can understand the situation the government finds itself. Mr. Speaker, I have heard certain views being expressed to the effect that, oh, yesterday we heard of similar actions by the executive. I recall that as a member of the appointment committee, the issue of the closure of some radio stations became a critical matter for us to even discuss at the appointment committee. And our friends opposite were very, very firm in their conviction. And I shared those sentiments with them. Granted that something happened yesterday which was not good for our country. Do we have to repeat them? No. Since 1993, no one here can tell me that our democratic journey has been static. It's been very dynamic, it's been fluid. Things are done and improved upon. So in this reset regime, we expect better. No, Mr. Speaker, you do not break it and pretend to be fixing it when it's not broken. You broke it. So if you are fixing, then you say we should commend you, we should be happy. Mr. Speaker, Mr. President, clemency is a belated thing. It's because of the public backlash. I would want the NCA and the ministry to be strongly guided by Article 296 of the 1992 Constitution. A regulation cannot overreach and override an express constitutional provision. In the list, the regulation is to guide, but not to impede and stampede the process. What happened today, where Asaase Radio was shut down, Wontumi FM was denied the opportunity to broadcast, Happy FM denied the opportunity to broadcast. Mr. Speaker, must not ever happen again. Because, Mr. Speaker, when same happened yesterday, it received that criticism. Mr. Speaker, I have with me, most respectfully, the Hansard of this house, October 19, 2017, column 998. Mr. Speaker, the work of a member of parliament is to make his advocacy and rely on records and rely on facts, rely on a reliable research team. And I cannot be making lame arguments here. Mr. Speaker, Honorable Sam George, at column 998, had this to say: I put it on record that the NCA failed to come before this August House in 2015 to approve their schedule of penalties, and that the schedule of penalties as used by the NCA in imposing this charge did not come before this August House of Parliament. As such, NCA is carrying out and perpetrating an illegality which this House must stop, because we are vested with upholding the 1992 Constitution. And I agree with you, Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker,
Honourable members, order.
Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker,
Honourable members, order.
Mr. Speaker, this was the respected colleague who was inviting us to uphold the Constitution. Mr. Speaker, the gravamen of this submission was to the effect that the administrative body with regulatory powers was required by law to comply with certain provisions of the Constitution. And that is why he relied on the veritable words we are vested with upholding the 1992 Constitution. Mr. Speaker, when authority is given by the Constitution, the same Constitution imposes an obligation on that authority. And I have said earlier that that limitation is clearly defined by Article 296. So clearly, I am saying that the respected Honorable Minister must not change his principles by virtue of his new position of honor. He fundamentally agrees that we must uphold the Constitution. And at the risk of being repetitive, the provisions in Article 162, as relied on supra, require of us not to impose any impediment. So if the regulation would impede press freedom, our duty as a house, as Honorable Sam George invited us to do, is to uphold the Constitution. It's our duty bona fide. So, Mr. Speaker, let's not justify in any way this attitude of shut down. If yesterday we were loud on the rooftops that it is not good to suspend or shut down, then today let us maintain the same principle and say that we would rather have an administrative engagement. Why should Asaase Radio be denied the opportunity to broadcast? Why? Why will Wontumi be denied opportunity? Why is Wontumi suffering? Why is Wontumi suffering? Why is Wontumi suffering? What has Wontumi done? What at all has Wontumi done? Mr. Speaker, if we say we want to perfect our democracy, then we must be seen to be walking that talk towards perfecting our democracy. This business of it happened yesterday, so we must continue this vicious cycle. Mr. Speaker, it won't help any of us. Today, I will repeat what I've been saying since 7 January 2025, that this power of 187 is not permanent. We have seen 169 before, and we saw 137. So let us all be guided and know that the power immediately you are given is like an ice block. It begins to melt. We should be guided so that when the power comes to us, we will remember to put in certain blocks that one day we will use it for equity in times of need. But if you have a member for Kasatintin who now says in his submission that he is applauding the harsh measures, the punitive actions of a regulatory authority, which is contrary to Constitution. If a lawyer from Kasatintin and a member of this house argues that he finds no problem with an administrative authority vested with regulatory powers exceeding its mandate, let me, Mr. Speaker, as for Hansard,
Honorable Minority
it would
Leader.
always be a great
Honorable Minority
witness.
Leader.
So, Mr. Speaker,
Please operate within Order 91-4.
Very well.
So,
Mr. Speaker, all that we are saying today will be referred to tomorrow. Mr. Speaker, so I would want to encourage Honorable Sector Minister to rather deepen the engagement process as directed by the President. Some of these belated actions for the purpose of optics will not help the cause of democracy. Stay away from the punitive actions. Stay away from this excuse of you need to enforce a regulation, especially when in enforcing the regulation you may be slipping out of the confines of the Constitution. We as the minority here will always move with full force to support all those who will be at the receiving end of any form of injustice. Mr. Speaker, without more, I shall resume my seat and listen to the majority leader to have his take on this matter. Thank you so much.
yes, Majority Leader.
Right, Honorable Speaker, like I indicated earlier in the day, we have about 30 questions scheduled to be asked of ministers. And the ministers are all here, from the Ministry of Finance, Health, Youth Empowerment, Roads. They're all here to answer questions that we have asked. And so, Mr. Speaker, I won't spend that much time, except to just say that I have cited a correspondence, a letter written in 2022 and 2023, and I just think that it will be useful to close this matter by just reading those letters. Mr. Speaker, on the 22nd of February 2023, there was a letter addressed to the Managing Director, Wontumi Multimedia Company Limited, Kumasi. Dear Sir, violation of conditions of authorization. We refer to the inspection conducted at the FM broadcasting premises of Wontumi Multimedia Company Limited at Kokomlemle, Accra, in the Greater Accra region on 14th of June 2022. The inspection revealed the following lapses in the setup and operations of Wontumi Multimedia Company Limited. 1. The station's transmission system was located at Accra Newtown instead of Ajangote, or within a 5-kilometer radius from Ajangote, as required by Condition 3 of your authorization dated 26 October 2021. This is causing interference to stations using neighboring frequencies. 2. There was no fire certificate from the Ghana National Fire Service. No fire certificate. 3. There was no permit from the Environmental Protection Agency approving the installation of the mast. Wontumi Multimedia Company Limited is hereby directed to rectify the above anomalies within 90 days from the date of this letter, that is by 21st May 2023, and invite the National Communication Authority for a second inspection. Please be informed that the cost of the second inspection amounts to 2,000 Ghana cedis and shall be borne by the Wontumi Multimedia Company. Please take note that the issuance of a test transmission authorization for Wontumi Multimedia Company Limited to commence operating its FM broadcasting station in Accra is pending compliance with the above directives. Yours faithfully, signed, Director General Joe Anochi. That is the first one. I have a second one, signed also by the same Director General Joe Anochi to the same company, the Managing Director, Wontumi Multimedia Company Limited, also on 21st December 2022, also titled Violation of Conditions of Authorization. Same conditions, transmission challenges, no fire certificate, no permit, repeated and signed again by the same Director General, Joe Anochi. Mr. Speaker, you see, when you take a license and the license stipulates conditions, please endeavor to comply with the conditions of the license. It is as simple as that. It is a national asset and the frequency has been allocated to you subject to payment of certain license fees. Please pay your license fees. I don't think any of us is interested in waking up in the morning, tuning into a radio to hear what is happening before you even step out of your house, only to be told that the radio station has been put off. So we don't want that. But please endeavor to comply with the conditions under which you have been licensed to operate. So that is all that I will say. And also to emphasize that I have looked at the laws under which the minister has issued the suspension directives. Mr. Speaker, there are two laws, basically, and regulations that govern. The National Communication Authority Act 2008. National Communication Authority Act 2008. And the Electronic Communication Act 2008. Mr. Speaker, I want to ask, in 2008, who was in power? In 2008, who was in power? Who was in power? Which political party was in power? Which political party? The NPP. The NPP was in power in 2008. And the laws that govern electronic communication and the National Communication Authority, which define the obligations of license owners, were passed by the NPP. So I am surprised that today, the leader of the minority, an MPP leader of the minority, and a lawyer for that matter, will stand in this chamber and say that it is unconstitutional and a violation of the Constitution for laws to be passed governing the management of frequencies. And yet, it was your party and your government in 2008 that enacted those legislation through this parliament. Which are consistent with the Constitution. So I think that when you urge others to be consistent, you must also be consistent yourself. So if you say Sam George has to be consistent, I also want to also be consistent. Be consistent with the position of your party on the management of frequencies. And as for His Excellency the President, I am surprised that you will say that he is being magnanimous because of public backlash. When did the suspensions take place? And when did that public backlash occur that I sitting here I haven't heard? When did that public backlash occur? The suspension occurred at what time of the day? At 10 a.m. this morning. And the clemency came at 12, within 2 hours. Who could have exercised such public backlash that His Excellency the President will be magnanimous to the extent that he is being? And lastly, Mr. Speaker, yes, we are representatives of the people, but first and foremost, if we sit in this house and laws are being violated and ministers are taking steps to enforce those laws, and we stand in this house and attempt to condemn those ministers, then we might as well stop coming here, because we are not here to make laws that should not be enforced. So when ministers are enforcing the laws, we should be the first to be commending them. I remember saying this about this same minister the last time he tried to enforce the law, and some members stood in this house and made statements that seemed to undermine efforts to enforce the law. This is the last thing that should be happening in this country, in this house, that we have enacted a law and a minister is enforcing the law, and we will stand in this chamber and try to take the minister on for enforcing the law. Please, let's stop it. Otherwise, there's no use being in this house. Mr. Speaker, on those very few words, I think that I commend the minister. We thank the president for his decision to direct the minister to suspend his actions. But the minister has given a timeline, and I think that all of us should be urging the media stations, the radio stations, the media houses to try and comply with the law. When it is genuinely difficult to comply with the law, I'm sure the minister will know. When you actually make an effort, the minister will know. And the minister will not arbitrarily just shut down or suspend a radio station when there is clear evidence that the radio station is making effort to comply with the law. So, Mr. Speaker, on that note, we thank the minister for coming to make such an important, urgent statement on a matter of government policy. And I think that we can continue with the next stage in the business of the House.
Yes, Honorable Minority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, in the spirit of cooperation, as we obliged our respected leader, I want to plead with you that since Majority Leader is done, if we can take the statement by Honorable Ayo. However, just a second. However, I've received communication through the table office, the pleasure of the chair. So I will yield to that, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. Yes, Honorable Minister for Communication. Please be brief.
Yes.
In your closing remarks.
I just want to say thank you to the House for the comments. We are guided by the clemency His Excellency has asked us to embark on. But, Mr. Speaker, I'm grateful to the Majority Leader as well for reading the letter. Mr. Speaker, the NCA and the ministry were only enforcing letters and directives that were given in 2022 and 2023. We have written several letters. And so the president, as a good, caring father, and I can appreciate the difficulty in appreciating a good and caring father. If you don't have a good and caring father, you can't appreciate a good and caring father. But because Father's Day is coming on Sunday, President Mahama, as a good father, has directed a 30 days clemency. I would urge all media houses that are affected to take advantage of this Father's Day gift from His Excellency the President and remedy their breaches. Mr. Speaker, they should do the needful. But just so that this house is a house of records, Mr. Speaker, the minority leader asks questions, why do you take Asaase off? I think he should go and read the Facebook page of Mr. Gabriel Tredako, who admits that the general manager of Asaase FM has told him that they failed to do their renewal, which was due in October. and they only did it in December. Mr. Speaker, the law is the law. The law is the law. I thank you.
Honorable members, let's make progress. Honorable members, let's move to question numbered 116, standing in the name of Francis Xavier Kojo Sosu, Member of Parliament for Medina. Honorable member, you have the floor.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I rise to ask the Minister for Roads and Highways the steps being taken to complete the inner roads project in Medina started under the previous administration. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, Honorable Minister, you have the floor.
Mr. Speaker, thank you for the opportunity. The La Quantanan Medina municipality is one of the 29 assemblies in the Greater Accra region. Current program, the Department of Urban Road awarded 19 maintenance projects within the La Quantanan Medina municipality. The projects are located within the suburbs of Abokobi, Taiman, Powerland, Oyarifa, Ghana Flag, Special Ice, Gravel Pit, High Tension, Medina Pantang, La Quantanan, Chief Palace, Medina Estate, Tatana, Nkwantanam, Melcom, Commandos, SDA, Ablo, Oyarifa, Police Quarters, and Pantang Village. 2 of these projects have been substantially completed. 3 are ongoing and the contractors are on site. 14 have stalled, out of which 8 have been recommended for termination. The Department of Urban Road is engaging the remaining contractors to return to site to complete outstanding works.
Honorable member, any supplementary question?
No, Mr. Speaker, only to commend the Minister for this very important information, especially the fact that efforts are being made to complete these outstanding roads. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you very much. We then move to question numbered 122, standing in the name of Honorable Frederick Addy, Member of Parliament for Suaman.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, may I please seek your leave on corrections being made here. They wrote Joabo instead of Joaboso. So I just want the correction to be made before I start with my question. They wrote Joabo instead of Joaboso to the DSO road.
Go ahead with your question.
Okay. I rise to ask the Minister for Roads and Highways what immediate steps the ministry is taking to rehabilitate the following deplorable roads in the Suaman constituency. The Dwabosu to Dadesu Road, Akontomra to Dadesu Road, Suaboy Adepena Road, Antuchrome and Kwasu to Dadesu Road, given the severe challenges they pose to transportation and economic activities in the area.
Yes, Honorable Minister, you have the floor.
Mr. Speaker, which of the questions is the colleague asking?
Honorable, the question is 122.
One?
Question
One to
numbered
two.
122.
Okay. Mr. Speaker, I thank you for the opportunity. Mr. Speaker, the Dwaboso Dadieso Road has a total length of 51 kilometers, 21 kilometers from Dwaboso to Amweja, and 15 kilometers from Kalo to Dadieso, and it's a surface-dressed road. The remaining 16-kilometer section between Kalo and Amweja is gravel surface. Current program, Mr. Speaker. The project was awarded under the contract titled Rehabilitation of Dwaboso Dadieso Road, kilometer 0 to 39. The contract commenced on the 15th of January 2021 for completion on the 20th of June 2023. The contractor is currently on site and work is progressing steadily. The contractor has so far achieved 53% of physical progress. Akontombra to Dadieso Road. Background. This road is 22.3 kilometers from and in the Akontombra district, and Akontombra in Swaman district in the Western North region. Part of this road joins National Route N12 at Bokaso and connects Akontombra to Dadieso in Kalo. Current program, Mr. Speaker, there's a contract on this titled Construction of Dadieso Akontombra Road, kilometer 4 to 26.3, and Asoinso Junction, under the funding from Cocoa Board. The contract commenced on the 17th of November 2021. To be completed in November 2022. Current physical completion is 20%. Mr. Speaker, Sulabo to Adepena Road. Mr. Speaker, this also is in the Western North region of our country. Current program is under contract with the title Sport Improvement of Adepena to Akosekrom Feeder Road. The contract was awarded on the 30th of November 2020 for completion by 17th February 2022. Progress of work is estimated at 39.34%. The contractor is currently not on site and works have stalled. Efforts are being made to get the contractor back to site to complete the outstanding works. Antokrom Road. Mr. Speaker, there is no program on this road. Future program. The Department of Feeder Road will undertake engineering studies on the road and submit estimates for by the third quarter of 2025. Kwaso to Adeso Road. Mr. Speaker, there is no program on this road, and the future program is for engineering studies to be carried out this year for consideration in the 2026 budget. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, honourable member, any supplementary question?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The minister made us aware Kwasu to Dadiesu Road, there's no contractor on it. But that very road has been a major road linking Adiepena, Suaboy, and Tukrum, and then Kwabranate. There's no other road that one you are coming
member be guided by order 88.
I want to find out from the minister, is there any means or any remedy that would be helpful for those people from those areas to assess that issue. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Honorable Minister.
Mr. Speaker, I agree with my colleague. I know the area, and that road is not in the best of shapes. In the interval, we are about to start the annual maintenance program, and we'll consider that for remedial activities as we get the appropriate intervention that would, in a long term, address the issue of the condition of the road between those two communities. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Any further question?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, you made mention of Jaboso Dadiesu Road. There is a particular kilometer of road, about 5 kilometers of road, ever since the contractor came on site. That very place has not been attended to. From Tuano to Kalo, the contractor has not
Honorable
attended
member,
to that
Honorable
place.
member, why are you not taking a guide?
Okay.
You are not supposed to address the house. You are supposed to question.
Okay.
So please. Kindly ask your question.
Mr. Speaker, may I know if that part was part of the contract